Have you ever wondered how images are formed? Maybe you've dabbled a little in photography. Images today are ever present. You see them on billboards, magazines, TV, the internet. They're ever present. Today I'm going to walk you through the basics of cameras. I'm going to take you through camera history, and then I'm going to demonstrate to you that you can have a camera anywhere, anytime. So what is a camera exactly? The basics of cameras, according to John Hedgecoe's new book of photography, breaks down a camera into a few pieces. He says, cameras are just basically light-tight boxes. You have a hole at one end and a focal plane on the other. There's a lens that covers the hole. It's meant to focus the image, and it's a convex piece of glass that reflects the light. There's an aperture that stands between the lens and the focal plane. It dictates the amount of light that's reflected into the camera, and it's typically read in f-stops. Like you'll see on this camera at the bottom of the LCD, you have an f-stop of 4. The bigger the hole, the smaller the number, and vice versa. The shutter has 2 positions, opened and closed. It's what admits the light into the camera, and it's able to be recorded in different speeds. So on this camera in particular, you'll see that the shutter speed is at 1/60th. Okay, now you know the basic mold of cameras. Let's talk about what we use to make pictures. Let's go over the history of cameras. The camera obscura was one of the first cameras. It was known as a pinhole camera. Images in this camera were taken upside down. About.com breaks down the next camera in history called the daguerreotype. The website reads that it utilized a sliding box camera. There was a lens placed in a larger box and a smaller box placed in the rear of the bigger box. The focus was controlled by the smaller box in back moving forward and back. The camera had a single feed exposure, and images were taken upside down, much like the camera obscura, until it was found that you could put a prism inside to flip the image right side up. Next, George Eastman created a box camera, which originally was a single image camera too. Later, roll film was discovered so you could create more than one image at a time. Next, Barnett created the 35mm camera. He created this because he wanted to test the ability to enlarge the film. In 1984, Land created the Polaroid for instant development photos. In 1986, Fuji then created single-use cameras. Now we're in the digital era, where everything is a camera. My cell phone is a camera. My tablet is a camera. We even utilize the camera for this class to record our speeches. Throughout the ages, the basics of the buildup of camera hasn't ever changed. There's still a shutter, an aperture, and essentially they're all just light-tight boxes, like Hedgecoe said. Now that you've got a basic understanding of cameras, and that you've walked through the history of cameras, I'm going to show you that anything can be a camera. My room, for example. First, I made sure this room could be light-tight. I put plastic bags over the windows, and then I stapled over the curtain so that way no light could be admitted. Then I made sure and tested that the room was going to be dark when all the lights were out. Now, I needed to create a lens in order to make sure that some light was going to be admitted so an image could be transposed on the opposing focal plane. Now, in this instance, I'm just going to use the peephole on the door behind me. I'm going to turn off the light and I'm going to remove the magnet that I have over top of the lens. So that way you can see that just a little bit of light is going to come into this room. Check it out. You see that little piece of light? That's your lens for this camera. You can create a camera anywhere just like this. You can use a box of cereal, an oatmeal box, a shoe box, anything. I just happen to make this room. Now, The opposing wall in this room would record the image, and you can try that at home. So let's go over what we talked about. We walked through time. I gave you the basic understanding and mold of cameras. Then I showed you the history of cameras, and I showed you that you can make a camera anywhere, anytime. So try it.